because I've had so many conversations with so many different artists from all different genres and walks of life. And like, there's so many common threads where it's always like, what do I do next? Like, what is the next, like, how do I, it's like literally like equivalent to like, what is the meaning of life? Like, how do I get through this ceiling? And it seems like it's so easy to like, you know, you get into these rabbit hole conversations about algorithms and YouTube analytics and Facebook boosts and all of these things that I think they do help. But it's, you know, I already said it earlier. It's like, okay, is the content good? Are you telling, you know, a story that's easy to tell? Is this something that has a clear focus that is being marketed to, you know, a specific demographic of people, but is simple enough that people from outside that demographic can latch on and want to be a part of it too? You know, like I don't know. It's very, it seems like it's all so much more simple than my brain wants it to be.
Yeah. I mean, I use this refrain all the time. It's simple, but it ain't easy.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff is simple, right? Like if you want to get in shape, everyone knows, got to go for more runs, eat more vegetables. It's simple. It ain't easy. I love Oreos. Like I love Kool-Aid. You know what I mean? Like it's not easy, but it's simple and it's across the board. And it's so easy, I think, to get spun up in whatever personal narrative you have about why it's not the simple thing. Like it's very seductive to come up with the complex whatever when it's probably simpler than that. There's the Occam's razor idea. It's usually the simplest explanation is the right one. Not always, but usually the simplest explanation is the right answer. And I just kind of default to that. Hopefully that gives me more energy to pour into the work, to pour into the content, to pour into that side of it. I ride with the simple answers most of the time. And I want to add one other basic thing that I just forgot to mention, because you're asking about like the arc of getting into digital media or realizing it was good. And I just want to put this note in there too. It's highly biological. What I mean by that is it's very easy to look at your phone or to talk about it as digital and, you know, the new blah, 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 blah. It's humans at the other side of that screen watching your YouTube video. If you're in someone's earbuds listening to your music and they're listening to your music through Spotify or whatever, and it's digital, blah, blah, blah. They're humans. They have human responses. They have the same general, menu of emotions. There's a pretty well-defined range of what their intellectual horsepower is. There's exceptions. There are, those crazy 3 derivative tales in these cases, but more often than not, these are humans, and they operate very similarly. They have their different nuances, cultures, backgrounds, tastes, of course, but a proxy for trust is how many times have you been around me and not hurt me? That seems like weirdly simple, but that's basically how our brains were hardwired to engender trust in primitive cultures. Back when it was, the tribe of 140 people, out in the woods somewhere, you knew every single one of those faces in that tribe. And if a new face showed up, you were skeptical, default skepticism, because that kept you alive. But if that person showed up and all your buddies kind of accepted them and they didn't hurt anyone, maybe not day 2, maybe not day 3, but after some certain point in time, you came to feel comfortable with them. So in that same sense, not that trust is necessarily the kind of, trust is still the core presupposition of someone wanting to come to your show. They're trusting you that you're going to give them a good time. They're trusting you that you're going to bring the noise and, come with an entertainment value to which they've become accustomed. Yeah. But, that's consistency. So in the digital marketing sense, I think of it all as that. In the same way, like I'll tell our photographer, I'll tell the person editing the video, bring it closer to my face, because anyone whose face you've seen this closely, you trust a little bit more. Unless I'm like really like shifty with like beady eyes and looking all over the place. If you've looked at my face for an hour, you will trust me more in the future. Now I'm going to take that trust very seriously. I'm not going to like, turn that into everyone being in my like ornate pyramid scheme. That's at least that's the plan. But those are basic proxies for biological functions. We're still trying to biologically get people to rally around our cause in a tribe. We're a much bigger, global, digitally connected tribe, but we're biological beings at the end of the day. And if you can understand that, you can understand why, certain pop acts all look very similar because they're hacking the same basic biological instincts that we have as human beings. And it's gross. It's not comfortable to say, but that's how the world works.